Up, beautiful people? I'm Chris Kruger. This is Transformation Truth. Buttercup. I'm Chris Kruger. This is Transformation Truth. Today, I want to separate some fact from fiction and talk about what hunger really means. And this is a truth that I shared recently on the Carnivore Cast. So I'll include a link to that episode of the Carnivore Cast so you guys can check it out. But what hunger really means, it doesn't mean eat. What hunger really means is hunt. That's what hunger means. That is that biological signal. And it can mean hunt or forage. But either way, you have to beast. You have to do something to earn the calories and the nourishment that you are going to put into your body. And think about this. Let's say we're trying to survive on a diet of wild berries. Okay, so a wild berry, like a strawberry, it's like 4 calories per berry. And I was just hunting around the internet and I saw that this fitness blogger mentioned that she saw in a fitness magazine that you can burn 600 calories by doing 2 hours of berry picking. And I think that's probably absolutely true because berry picking is like arduous and back-breaking work. It's not easy. So if you take your basal metabolic rate, say you're a human being, a little smaller than me because I'm a big guy, but let's say your basal metabolic rate is 1,900 calories. That's the number of calories that you're going to burn in a day just staying alive. You know, you could stay in bed, you could read all day, but you're going to burn 1,900 calories a day just keeping your body alive, keeping your metabolism on. And guys, smash the thumbs up. We're doing it live. This is fun. Smash it. So 1,900 calories is your basal metabolic rate. Then add in 600 calories for 2 hours of berry picking. Now we need to get 2,500 calories. Each wild berry that you're going to pick is like 4 to 5 calories. So now you need to pick a berry every 5 seconds for 2 hours to meet your metabolic requirements just for energy. And those berries, there's no complete protein in there. All you're getting is like sugar, fructose. It's got to be processed in your liver. But the signal, hunger, means hunt or forage. So if you want to go pick berries, great. But really what you need to do is start this beautiful cycle. Because in nature, there is no breakfast. There's no pantry. There's no refrigerator. There's no cabinet that you can just go to and be like, I think I'll have some frosted mini wheats. It doesn't exist. And every time we get hungry, we misinterpret this signal and we think we need to eat. You do not need to eat when you are hungry. What you need to do is move your body as though to mimic hunting, fishing, or foraging. That's what we need to do. So what is the best, most nourishing food you can do? Do you want to go do 2 hours of back-breaking labor to pick berries? To pick a new berry every 5 seconds? Maybe you could pick them faster than that. I don't know. I'm not a berry picker. But what we need to do is deplete energy at the cellular level. The cellular currency for energy is ATP, adenosine triphosphate. And every time that we're expending energy, we're breaking ATP into ADP. So we're breaking this phosphate bond. And you break that down, and then what we want to do when we exercise is deplete the ATP and damage our muscle tissues. So that way, when we feast on the rewards of our labor, we continue this cycle where we've damaged our tissues and depleted our energy so that we can replete or refuel our energy and then nourish our body and repair our tissues. So you're not going to get a lot of repair for your tissues from your wild berry diet. But what should we be? And also, if you spend 2 hours picking 625 berries, that's just feeding you. Wouldn't it be better if we could go out in a hunting party and bring down one nourishing animal that has the abundant amino acid profile that is all of the protein that you need for your animal flesh, because you're an animal, is contained in the flesh of other animals like bison or any bovine or sheep or whatever, or wildebeest. Or, oh, you're a little sensitive, we could eat horse or kangaroo. It doesn't matter. The amino acids that you really need, and this is something that Dr. Ted Naiman talks about, is that when we look at foods, we should be looking at the protein to energy ratio, because what we really need to be satiated and nourished and to repair our tissues so that we can continue thriving is protein. That is what we really need. And so you take a look at the protein to energy ratio of any food, and you find out that all these heart-healthy, bogus foods that we've been lied to about, apples, there's no protein in there. Berries, yes, delicious. If you want to fatten yourself up for winter, eat more berries. Oatmeal, totally worthless. There's like zero nutrition in oatmeal. And it's only going to cause you a bad time and contribute to you being obese unless you go on starvation calories. So if we accept that hunger means hunt, which it clearly does, because in nature there are no free lunches, there are no free breakfasts. You need to beast every day. So then we can say, how do we want to spend our time beasting? Picking wild berries with no protein in them, with a terrible protein to energy ratio? No, we want to spend our time hunting. And you say, Chris, what about a whole foods plant-based diet? If you're a cow, it's a great idea, because you've got a 4-chambered stomach that can ferment plant food that is indigestible to you now as a human. But if you were a cow, you would have all this bacteria to ruminate and turn that indigestible plant food into something that you can use, into proteins and fat. Or if you say, well, what about the horse? He's just eating grass. I've seen some buff horses, Seabiscuit. Guess what? The horse is a giant hindgut fermenter. So the ruminants, they ferment in their 4-chambered stomach. The horse has giant hindguts for it to ferment in. Oh, what about these gorillas, Chris? They're buff. Yes, a gorilla has a colon the size of a football. You have one the size of a pinky. It's not fair, but you know what you have? You know, these animals that are so buff on their plant-based diet, they have huge guts. But guess what they don't have? Huge brains. There's something called the expensive tissue hypothesis. And I think we have, I'd have to look back at the paper, but it's like 5 metabolically expensive organs. Your brain, obviously, is one, no matter what animal you are. It's expensive to run a brain. It takes a lot of calories. Then you have your heart, your liver, your kidneys, and your guts. Well, guess what? If you want a big brain, you can't shrink your heart. You can't shrink your kidneys. You still need to produce urine. You still need to filter stuff out. You still need to have a regular sized liver. So what do? You trade guts for brains. And that's what humans have done, because you can't just increase your total metabolic allowance. You can't have big guts and big brains and a big liver and a big heart. You need to make a trade-off. That's what evolution has done. So you have sacrificed the ability to eat a whole foods plant-based diet and thrive so that you can have a brain. You just don't have the guts to digest it. But you do have that big human brain. And let's use that big human brain to deduce. Hunger means hunt. That is obvious because there's no free lunches. So if we know that hunger means hunt, we want to go down and chase down and work as a team and use our big human brains and our ability to speak and communicate to hunt down the most nourishing source of food. Then we bring it back and we cook it, another thing we do with our big human brain and our ability to control fire, and we make that meat even more nourishing. We sit around the campfire and we tell stories and we develop arts and culture. So now we're feeding everyone, we're feasting. The older members of our tribe get to live a long, happy life so that they can pass down knowledge to us. Like, actual longevity is an adaptation that helps all humans thrive. And you say, well, Chris, I've seen these studies, the people eating more plants, the culture, they tend to live longer. Look, all of those studies are entirely confounded by high infant mortality. If you're like, Chris, the cavemen only lived to 33 years old on average, and they were only 2.5 feet tall. Yes, that's on average because cave women were giving birth in the wild. They couldn't go to UCLA Medical Center or Cedars-Sinai. So there's incredibly high infant mortality when you try to squeeze a giant human brain out of a regular-sized ape vagina. That should be obvious. So if you average all of the infants that died before they were 1 year old, along with all the people that lived till they were 80, you get that, oh, they only lived to 33 and, they're really short. It doesn't make any sense. It's total baloney, homie. So we beast so that we can feast, so that we can get the most nourishment possible, the most nourishing food possible. And then we fast until we do it again. And each day we complete this beautiful cycle where we get up, we feel hunger, and instead of going out and pouring ourselves a bowl of Cheerios, instead of doing that, we do an activity to mimic hunting or fishing or foraging. We spend ATP, we break our ATPs down into ADPs so that, and we damage our tissues so that we can refuel and repair. And then we fast until we do it again. So every single day you should be beasting and feasting and fasting. That is how you have effortless abs, is you accept that hunger does not mean eat. And if you will not accept that simple and obvious truth, if you won't accept that, then you are doomed to a lifetime of getting fat and staying fat. That's option number one. Or a lifetime of working so incredibly hard to have the body composition that you want. Yeah, I would like to be lean and strong and healthy and look a certain way. Well, guess what? If you think that hunger means eat, you're going to have to expend so much willpower trying to get to your goals if you think that hunger means eat, because it doesn't. And then you're eating 5 or 6 times a day. You're packing Tupperware full of brown rice and chicken breasts. You're doing all of this nonsense. What you really need to do is beast and feast and fast. And when I say doing all this nonsense, think of all like just the amazing, sexy Instagrammers and YouTube bodybuilders out there that are still under this belief that hunger means eat. They work so hard. And what they've done is they've taken the yo-yo diet that everyone can relate to. Oh man, I really want to get in shape for my high school reunion. Oh man, I really want to get in shape for my wedding. Oh man, I really want to get in shape for whatever it is. I really want to get in shape for this. So I diet down, I restrict my calories, I look good for my spring break, and then I go back and I eat back up and I balloon back up and I've gained all the weight back. Well, that's nonsense. But that's exactly what the sexy Instagrammers and the YouTube bodybuilders do, is they diet and deplete themselves all the way down so they can finally look how they want to look for like a day, for a photo shoot or going on stage or, whatever, one spring break. And then they gain all that weight back and then some, but they just call it bulking and cutting. So we're supposed to, live our whole lives alternating between like, oh, I've got to expend all my willpower, and then, I get to go to Red Robin and eat unlimited steak fries afterwards, after I've got the photos I need for my Instagram account for the next year. It's total baloney. If we would just live in tune with our biology and accept that beasting, feasting, and fasting is the program that we should... Beasting, feasting, and fasting is the program. It's the software. It's the routine that we should be running for our hardware. We are developed to beast and feast and fast on a daily basis. And if you think about all of the sickness and chronic Western disease that we experience around the world now, chronic Western disease is spreading to Africa and Asia. We talk about, oh yeah, look, the China study, see, these people in Asia are so much healthier. Baloney, homie. Asia has 60% of the world's population and 60% of the world's diabetics. They're not any healthier. Oh, Chris, but in Asia, they have fewer heart attacks. Well, guys, in Asia, they have more strokes. It's cardiovascular disease. And what you need to understand is all disease, sure, there are certain very rare genetic disorders. Awful. But for all of chronic Western disease, the chronic diseases that we suffer from, that my dad suffered from, they are all related to diet, lifestyle, and environment. And the real underlying disease is metabolic syndrome. That is a broken metabolism that results in hyperinsulinemia. You want to see some incredible correlations? Look at the correlations between type 2 diabetics and heart disease. You know why? Because it's the same disease. If you allow yourself to have a terrible triglycerides to HDL ratio, if you allow yourself to live a lifestyle that produces high blood pressure, if you allow yourself to live a lifestyle that produces abdominal obesity or visceral fat, that's getting fat from the inside out, where your liver, whether it's turning alcohol or fructose into triglycerides, it's trying so hard to keep up, and it's just making new fat that's bulging out from your belly. So whether you're fat from the inside out or just under your skin, if you have abdominal obesity, if you allow that, you're heading on the path to disease. Excuse me, guys. Okay, back with you, beautiful people. So, TG-HDL ratio, high blood pressure, visceral fat, and terrible fasting glucose. You've got no control. Your body for 20 years, it takes 20 years to fully break your metabolism. So it might be, you're young, you're growing, you're doing high school sports, and it stops around age 18. Well, guess what? Probably, if you're like most Americans, by 38, you'll be diabetic with heart disease starting to take shape, or cardiovascular disease, stroke, waiting in the wings. It takes 20 years to break that metabolism. And what's really sad is there are kids being born now with their metabolisms already broken, that are hyperinsulinemic already because mom got terrible advice or was neglectful during her pregnancy. It's awful. I can't imagine what it would be like to be a person. I see these kids all the time when we go to the beach, where you've been fat your whole entire life since birth, and you have no idea what it is like to flourish. So, guys, use the diet and lifestyle that you are intended to have. And yes, we're not all going to move to the wild and pick up spears and go hunting every day, but you can mimic that wild lifestyle of beasting, feasting, and fasting. I love you guys. Thank you so much for watching this. I don't have the link right now, but after I post this video, I'll go add it in. If you want to get started on the free version of my beasting, feasting, and fasting program, I'm going to put the link in. Or you can go right now. It's www.krugerbody, KRUGER, body, BODY.com/secret. Because the secret is, it's not about your calories and calorie restricting that everyone tells you. It is about your hormones. And you will get your hormones regulated and doing the right stuff when you choose the diet and lifestyle that is beasting, feasting, and fasting every day in that order, that produces not just getting you away from metabolic syndrome, but produces metabolic excellence, where you have great insulin sensitivity, where you have a lean, flat stomach, where you have hard, strong abs, where you look your best, where you can feel your best, and where you will be your best and be truly healthy. So guys, please smash the thumbs up now. I'm going to scroll through your comments out here in the rain. Name Cardinal, what's up? CP, what's up? Shelly Smith, I've lost over 100 pounds since August 2018. If you're just sitting around and you're hungry, then you're bored. Yeah, and the thing is, we also have broken metabolisms where we're crashing on the blood sugar roller coaster. This is something I should have talked about earlier in the video, is that, we think we're so hungry. We wake up and we feel like we need breakfast, when actually breakfast is what stops you from burning any more fat. As soon as you have that breakfast cereal, that bagel, whatever it is your body stops burning fat and starts burning the sugar, the carbohydrates, the glucose that's coming in from the bagel or the cornflakes or whatever you just ate. So what we need to do is cut that out, and we will finally dip into body, Excuse me, guys. And we will finally dip into the oxidation of body fat for energy. That's where we're trying to get to. But if you wake up and you feel like, I'm starving, that starving is when you're just about to break through and get to the point where you can really start burning body fat. So you extend that fast. People will tell you all the time, oh, it's totally natural for humans to eat a lot of glucose. Humans preferentially burn glucose. Humans preferentially burn glucose because it is toxic. When you have too much glucose, too much sugar in your bloodstream, it starts to produce diabetes. It starts to burn its way through your capillaries. And that's why diabetics end up losing limbs and going blind. Is you have diabetic neuropathy, retinopathy, diabetic blindness, because the sugar in your bloodstream is flat out corrosive. So if you start corroding your blood vessels with high sugar, of course your body, over millions of years of evolution, has adapted a way to say, hey, we really need to stop burning fat right now, which is what we'd like to do. We'd like to get lean and get strong. But instead, we're going to burn sugar because we absolutely need to before we go blind and have our toes fall off. All right, guys, let's check out some more comments. And smash a thumbs up. Titus Gibson says, the caveman mindset. Yeah, well, let's just be smart and think with ancestral health. The time, if you actually look at the skeletons of ancient peoples, the ancient Romans, the ancient Egyptians, and compare that to the Cro-Magnons living just 20,000 years earlier, so pre-agrarian, that are true foragers. They are bigger skeletons with larger cranial capacity, so bigger brains, more robust frames. And then we see also in Native Americans too, the hunter-gatherer Native Americans, bigger, stronger, more robust. The ones that are farming corn, smaller, weaker. It's across all cultures. As soon as you start farming and thinking you're going to survive on crappy carbohydrates, on grains, you start shrinking your population. Each individual, on average, shrinks and gets weaker. And you start seeing heart attacks and cardiovascular disease. Let's see, any good comments here? Mikey, what's up, dude? Herb Stomp says, Richard! Exclamation. James giving me the thumbs up. Fahid says, how do you have such great energy while having low body fat? And it's simple. I make it about my hormones instead of about the calories. As soon as you make it about the calories and that you need to restrict your calories and diet down, that's a terrible place to be, and that makes you low energy, and that's why all diets are really unsustainable. So you can't diet, you can't restrict your calories. What you need to do is eat abundantly nourishing foods and then be able to fast until you beast, until you exercise, until you mimic hunting or fishing, until you do that again, and then you feast again. And it creates effortless body composition excellence. James says, I've lost 20 pounds since December 10th, 2018. Thank you for your videos. James, thanks for watching. Luke Bergeron, what's up? He says, I lift weights only twice a week and I go skateboarding every day. I started implementing that with beasting, feasting, and fasting, and now I'm in the best shape I've ever been in. It's all about beasting, feasting, and fasting. And guys, for me, this is really personal, is that my dad died while I was still 18 years old, and he had all of this chronic Western disease. And it's all the same stuff for everybody. It's just a matter of what kills you first. You know, my dad died of metastatic prostate cancer. Well, guess what? Cancer, it's called the Warburg effect, feeds on carbohydrates. Cancer is a metabolic disease. The inflammation that creates cardiovascular disease and heart attacks and strokes you can trace it directly to inflammation and hyperinsulinemia, so broken metabolism again. Obesity, diabetes, obviously hyperinsulinemia. As soon as we reject all these nonsense ideas that we should be on a whole foods plant-based diet or that we should be concerned about our LDL, what you need to be concerned about, if you look at your blood work and you look at the lipid panel, What are your triglycerides? Because your triglycerides are proxy for VLDL, which is the actually possibly dangerous form of cholesterol. So triglyceride ratio. So it's triglycerides divided by HDL, your good cholesterol, your great cholesterol. And yeah, HDL cholesterol, it's non-causal. Having high HDL cholesterol isn't making you healthier. Having high HDL cholesterol happens when you are healthier. So again, it comes back to our diet and our lifestyle. We don't need, you know, we don't need more pills and protein bars and prescriptions and all this nonsense. We need a simple daily routine that feels good to do so that we'll keep doing it. Fahid just said in there, how do you have so much energy? Well, guys, I'm in like hour 40 of a fast right now. So I ate dinner Tuesday night. Wednesday, I fasted the whole day, and at 5 o'clock, I met my friend Václav at the gym, and we played full court basketball for hours. And I was actually surprised, like, hey, 35-and-a-half-year-old dad here, still dunking, no problem, awesome. I put that in my Instagram stories. So then I went home, jumped in the pool, took a shower, went to bed, woke up this morning, and now I'm making this video. So I've been fasting for 40 hours, and this is my energy level, despite having a low body and not having eaten for 40 hours. And it's because I make my daily routine beasting, feasting, and fasting, and I concentrate on getting the hormones that I want. These are the things that signal your body, tell your body what to do. So you send your body the message that I want these hormones. I want testosterone up. I want growth hormone up. I want IGF-1 up, but then I want to turn it down. And it's beasting, feasting, fasting that is so simple. And that's why this is personal to me. Is if we spread this, if my dad had beasting, feasting, and fasting, he wouldn't be suffering from heart disease, and he wouldn't be suffering from type 2 diabetes, and he wouldn't ultimately be dying of cancer when he's way too young, because beasting, feasting, and fasting is the antidote to those things. If he had been lean and strong with great blood pressure and an excellent TG-HDL ratio, there's a good chance he's still alive today if he focused on those things. But I didn't know anything. I was 18 years old. And even after that, I was like, oh, well, I'll just do things like the other bodybuilder guy, fitness guys talk about. I'll talk about 6 small meals a day and eating oatmeal and healthy whole wheat. It's only, all these years later, 15 years later, that I'm like, oh, that's all nonsense. And it's all about evolving with the available information. If you only have so much information, you're going to draw certain conclusions. But if you keep learning and growing and developing, you'll get more information so that you can draw new conclusions that are better, what we're really trying to get to is what is the most true. We're trying to get to the truth. So every time we can find more evidence and use it to increase our understanding of the truth, that's what we want to do. Let me get back up here. And guys, keep writing in with your comments. I hope I'll be able to get to a bunch of them. What was that last one? Luke Bergeron. Okay, so there's Luke. He's feeling great, beasting, feasting, and fasting. Okay, Simon Evans, what's ADP and ATP? So the energy that you're actually using in your cells comes from adenosine triphosphate. When you use that energy, what you're really doing is breaking, so it's a triphosphate. What you're doing is breaking that bond so you get down to ADP. And then there's different metabolic cycles that restore ADP back to ATP. So it's breaking that bond that releases energy every time. Okay, Dubman says, I like the idea of beasting, feasting, and fasting, but I'm skinny and lose more weight doing it. So Dubman, so if you were in my Kruger Body University, it's all about picking the right training program for you. And the best way, as for a natural person like myself and probably yourself, is with beasting, feasting, and fasting because you're upregulating your growth hormone and your testosterone and your IGF-1. It's the best way to do it. Eating 6 meals a day is just constantly turning off growth hormone so that you can pump insulin. So yeah, you need to tweak your beasting and your feasting and your fasting. Maybe you don't fast as long as I fast, but you can definitely have incredible success doing it. Tiffany Anthony, what's up? Daniel Eilertson says, gorillas are pretty damn smart. Yeah, they're pretty smart for gorillas. But if you're like, hey, I'm trying to get into a great college, maybe I'll have this gorilla take my SAT. I don't think you're going to do that, homie. 25% of your caloric energy goes to your brains. Yes, David Craddock, that is true. Or very roughly true, about 25%. And if you're devoting 25% of the calories that you consume to your brains, you don't have more calories that you can send to your guts. In human evolution, we made the trade-off, and it's not conscious, it's not, we didn't intelligently do this. Getting over this little winter cold. We didn't intelligently do this, but that's what ended up happening, is we were able to get such abundant nourishment through hunting that we kept getting better at hunting and traded eating a whole foods, plant-based grass diet. You can try it. Go eat grass and berries and see how long it takes you to starve to death. My guess is not too long. Depends on how fat you are at the start. Demand 52 says, raccoons are high in fat. Well, delicious. Humans can't get to the moon either, you doorknob. I don't know what that's about. Bass Comedy and Fitness Subscribe channel says, I wonder if vegan gains kills insects. Insects are in the animal kingdom. Clearly, insects are not vegan. Gorillas do eat insects. Demand 52, keep up the good work. Let's see if we can get some new comments. Oh, Devin Lane, what's up, dude? What do you think about fasting more in the evening than in the morning? Guys, as long as you do those steps, beasting, feasting, and fasting, I don't care when the feast happens and when the workout happens. I think it's totally reasonable to, based on your job, work out at 6 in the morning and feast at 6 p.m. at night, and then repeat. Just the key thing is that we do them in order. And yeah, if I was really trying to optimize things because you're an Olympic athlete or you're a professional athlete, then yeah, I would tweak things and I would maybe put your workout in the morning right here, and then I put your feast in the early afternoon, and then we would fast. But for every regular person out there with a real job, beast when you can before you feast, and then feast sometime in the day afterwards, and then fast until you repeat the cycle. And guys, a lot of this is explained if you go to krugerbody.com/secret, get the free version of the program. A lot of this is in there. Herb says, I eat right before bed and right when I wake up. Stop doing that, Herb. Extend your overnight fast. No hunger. I hate feeling hungry. Herb, hunger is the signal to go do that workout, to go beast. And what we should all be striving for is to be more resilient. Oh, I hate feeling hungry, so I'll just have a Snickers. Baloney. And the thing is, that ravenous hunger you have when you're riding the blood sugar roller coaster and you're always crashing, and you're like, ugh, and you get so hangry and irritable and you act like a jerk. That is because you have zero metabolic flexibility. If you knew that just on the other side of that hanger was effortless fat oxidation for energy, you'd probably feel a lot better. I've got effortless, smooth energy. Right now, I'm having a great conversation with you guys. I haven't eaten in 40 hours, and I'm not going to eat for another several hours when we go crack open the crock pot and devour its delicious contents. Okay, let me try to get... So, D-Lane, that's the answer to your question. Got some herbs, I want to get these new ones in here. Deputy says, stop eating, fatties. And really, beasting, feasting, and fasting, like all of chronic Western disease they're diseases of comfort and convenience. So if you can choose to embrace a little bit of discomfort, if you can choose to extend your fast a little bit, and maybe that's uncomfortable, if you can choose to exercise and to beast in a way that makes you a little bit uncomfortable, if you can feast on real nourishing whole foods and yet avoid the cake that would have brought you more comfort, then you can have complete health and complete nourishment. And by embracing just a little bit of discomfort, you can have tremendous comfort in the form of metabolic excellence. Let's see here, more comments. Noah Brooks, are Monster Zero okay to drink? I wouldn't drink that. Let's see. Dr. Michael Fartface, I read the literature. Meat is more toxic than cyanide. That's absolutely false. No basis for that in reality. But guess what? Apple seeds contain cyanide. So if you want to actually have cyanide poisoning, eat apple seeds. Okay. Robert Beauchamp, way high protein, very low carb, and moderate fat. I think he's talking to somebody else there. Lily says, I'm fat. Well, start beasting, feasting, and fasting. Jenny says, we pay for our own sickness by buying the commercial sugar and keeping that addictive behavior. It makes me feel sick to eat it. 100%. It is making you sick. James Colbert, I'm worried about my uric acid and gout. Any recommendations? James, we'll have to do a whole video on that. Jeremy Romo says, is there a limitation you would consider being too high with LDL? James, the family's coming home from the dentist. Maddox just went to the dentist. Buttercup's excited. She's like, people are coming home. Bubs, I just decided to do a live, so I'm going to go knock out the rest of this live, and then we'll be done. Cool. Cheese. Oh, you want to be on YouTube now, Bug? Later? Okay. Okay. Okay, is there a limitation that you would consider being too high on LDL? No, and this is why. It's because that LDL is not important when we focus on metabolic excellence, and to see metabolic excellence, we want to avoid metabolic syndrome. So if you focus on your TG, your triglyceride to HDL ratio, then you will get to a place where LDL is clearly irrelevant. So when I go in for my blood work in February, what I want to see is triglycerides near 40, HDL near 80, so a TG-HDL ratio well under 1, and in fact, closer to 0.5. And when we do that, if your LDL is, well, the thing is, if you do that, then your LDL is probably going to be between 80 and 120. You're great. That is, if you look at the data from the New England Journal of Medicine, it's a 1989 issue, the Mr. Fit data, you see that people with total cholesterol between 160 and 219 are the healthiest. And if you make your goal metabolic excellence and you get your TG down to 40 and your HDL up to 80, you're gonna fall right into that range. And that's why we shouldn't be concerned with our LDL. If our doctor tries to put us on statin medications for our LDL, we should be like, you're fired. I'm gonna find a new doctor. I'm gonna get someone like Dr. Ted Naiman. So if we do that, then your LDL is going to be where it should be. You know, obviously, if you're totally metabolically dysregulated, if your trigs, what's so insane is that triglycerides up to 150 milligrams per deciliter are considered normal. It's in range. And HDL as low as 40 milligrams per deciliter is considered in range. So you can be a tremendously sick and metabolically dysregulated person. But guess what? There's no pill that Big Pharma can sell you that will increase your HDL and make you healthier. There's no pill that Big Pharma can sell you to lower your triglycerides and make you healthier. Now, what statin medications do is they haphazardly interrupt a major metabolic pathway. And when they do this, we see lower LDL numbers. That's not why people have slightly fewer heart attacks on statins. The reason that statins work and people have slightly fewer heart attacks on statins is because the unstable plaques in the arteries start to become calcified and they become more stable. So atherosclerosis is plaque in your arteries. And eventually those plaques become calcified. What statins do, besides lowering your cholesterol on the one hand, is they start calcifying and hardening those plaques so that they're not as likely to break off and cause a blockage on the way to your heart or your brain. So statins don't even work by lowering LDL. They work by causing more, the atherosclerosis is continuing to happen. It's just more stable with fewer blockages and breakages. Fewer breakages resulting in fewer blockages. Let's see here. Let me try. Dubman says, oh, hold on. Let's do Robert Nickel here. Robert Nickel, what do you think? Okay. Robert Nickel says, what do you think of stevia sweetener? I think that's a great way to keep yourself addicted to things that are too sweet. So get rid of the sweetener. Like, embrace being nourished. As long as we keep reloading that trigger, we stay addicted. As long as you keep smoking a few cigarettes, you stay addicted to cigarettes. The only way to quit something is to quit it. Where were we? Oh man, I'm so lost. You guys have left so many great comments. So that's... let's see here. Next comment. Jerry Cash, Parkersburg, West Virginia. What's up? Oh, CP brings up a great point. She's like, this video deserves more likes. Smash the like button. Why are you being stingy? Like the video and hop back into the chat. Mikey C says, hey, Chris, I have a minor tear in my forearm tendon. Any tips to help it heal quickly? Mike C, minor tear, rest. Just absolute, like, the actual pain that you're experiencing is a signal to, like, stop doing that. And then we're like, oh, it hurts when I do this. Well, stop doing this. Like, if we would just rest. And obviously we want to be beasting, feasting, and fasting and lower down our inflammation. And we want to just rest and allow yourself to repair. Darko, specific examples of what to eat. Yes, there are. I have all the videos up in my KBU, on my KBU website, Kruger Body University. But just get Kruger Body, go to krugerbody.com/secret and get the free version right now. And there's a lot of helpful information there. Anna King says, is there any scientific research on supporting fasted workout? I read some advice against it. The advice that you read against a fasted workout is total nonsense. A fasted workout is the only natural state to work out in. So sure, if you're crashing on the blood sugar roller coaster and you're hangry and you're like, oh, I don't want to be in the gym, or I don't want to be doing my run, or I don't, yes, you can absolutely make up excuses why you don't want to do a fasted workout. But biologically, with human physiology, the only workout you should be doing is fasted. There is no free lunch in nature. So toughen up and start doing your workouts fasted. Start doing your whole day fasted. I'm doing this video fasted after playing 2 hours of basketball last night fasted, after spending all yesterday fasted, after having not eaten since Tuesday at dinner. So if we would all just toughen up, then we could have incredible health. But if we all say, no, I need my pre-workout shake because it tastes good and I don't want to get lightheaded from not eating enough. The problem is we eat too much. Anyways, be safe, be smart. Johnny Love says, you sent me a TSC shirt 3 years ago, now I'm fat again. My girlfriend gets pregnant and she's got, and she's got cancer when she was 32 weeks pregnant. I need help with the first steps again. Johnny Love, that sounds like a terrible situation. Please, beast, feast, and fast, and make it happen. Take care of your people. Herb recommends Cinnabon. I don't recommend Cinnabon. Unless it's a special occasion. Like, I don't want you guys to feel, I've got to beast, feast, and fast. I can only eat these foods and I have to do this exact thing every single day. No, you should do beasting, feasting, and fasting for every single regular day. But if you have a day that is irregular, you're traveling, you have an emergency, like, adapt and adjust. But when it's just a regular day, do what should be your regular routine. And then when it's the 4th of July or the Super Bowl or the birthday party or the high school reunion, you see friends you haven't seen in 20 years, then do something different. Celebrate. But for every regular day, do your regular routine. Charlie Cathopoulos says, thanks for the course and the chat and your efforts in helping people undo their metabolic derangement. You're welcome. Fahid says, what's your maintenance diet? There is no maintenance diet. There's no bulking, there's no cutting, there's no maintenance. There's just beasting, feasting, and fasting, and eating real nourishing foods until you feel totally nourished. Guys, it all comes back to hormones. And what we really want to do is trigger leptin. This is your hormone that says, hey, you're satiated. You can stop eating now. And the problem is, when we're on that junk food standard American diet, is we never trigger leptin. Instead, we eat until our stomach is uncomfortably stretched out and we have to stop. And then we digest the food, we get it out of the stomach, and then we're crashing on the blood sugar roller coaster. And then we do this whole thing over and over again. And we just do this all day, crash. Come up, oh, we feel great. We had that Coca-Cola burger and fries, crash. Oh, we feel great. We had the $5 footlong, crash. So what we really need to do is eat real foods and nourish ourselves, and then we trigger leptin, which means, oh, I'm satisfied. I'm satiated. I've got all the nourishment my body needs so that I can move on to something else. Dobert says, am I always on a fat metabolism if I eat a carnivore diet without dairy? Well, for certain activities, like, your body will make as much sugar as you need, and then it will spend the sugar as it sees fit. So I don't think it's useful to worry like, oh, I'm always in keto. No, eat real food and beast and feast and fast, and you want to have the metabolic flexibility to dip effortlessly in and out of keto. Thanks. Oh, fasting is free. That's why everybody hates it. There's people trying to, like, make money on fasting. No, stop. Just don't have any. You don't need any products. You need to know how to do it. That's it. Sergeant R, USMC. Let's just say there was a lot of baloney, homie, behind the scenes to answer your question. Jerry Cash, Planet Fitness, question mark? That's probably enough for someone else. Emily H, is fasting a problem for women? Absolutely not. But don't think, Emily, call from Connecticut. Emily, don't think that you have to start at my level of fasting. Start at a beginner level of fasting and work your way up to where you're okay. Like, you can always push it and push yourself out of your comfort zone. But if every human being on the planet would start fasting for a minimum of 14 hours a day, that would be amazing. Like, my wife makes it a point. She wants to fast a minimum of 14 hours a day, and then 16 hours a day is better, and 18 hours a day is better, and then 19 hours a day is better. But get to where you can create a sustainable routine with the results that you want. So if you have all the results you want with a 14-hour-a-day fast, stay there if you want to. But if you want more results, increase. That's what someone asked earlier about building muscle. All you have to do once you have beasting, feasting, and fasting as your daily routine is just turn the dial. I turn beasting up a little bit. Oh, I'm getting overtrained. I turn beasting down a little bit. Feasting, fasting, the same thing. Just turn the dials. And with feasting, it can be, oh, I put these foods in my diet. I thought I was gaining a little weight, or I wasn't feeling great, so I take those foods out of the diet. Fasting, I fast a little longer, or I fast a little shorter. It's so easy to adjust once you have it. Anna King says she fasted for 4.5 days. And guys, I don't think anyone should be... Bug, mommy left. I'm going to be down in a second. I don't think anyone needs to be fasting for 4.5 days until you've mastered the 23-hour daily fast. If you can fast 23 hours every single day, then extend it overnight. But you don't need to do that. You don't need to do that for metabolic excellence. Let me get a couple more comments and then I'm out of here, guys. Lone Hiker says, I've been eating organ meats, liver, heart, other unfavorite ones. I won't say, and then muscle meat, eggs, feel amazing with organ meats. Yeah, feel amazing with organ meats. So when you eat the liver, that ruminant that is eating that terrible whole foods plant-based diet, munching on grass all day, being a mindless prey mammal, it's storing all of that nourishment in the liver. So it's like it's the bank vault. So if you want to get some more nourishment, go have just a little slice of liver and you're robbing the bank. A little slice of liver has as much vitamin C as a tangerine. Okay. Emily H, this is a video I'll do. So is black coffee okay on a fast? It's okay because it's not triggering an insulin response, but it's also making your liver do some work. So it's breaking your liver's fast, but it's not breaking your insulin fast. So what I recommend if you'd like to also break your caffeine addiction is substitute for your cup of coffee in the morning, a cold shower. Like embrace a little bit of discomfort and see how great you feel. Ironically joyful, thoughts on raw meat? If you're confident that the meat is free of pathogens, whatever. You want to have some beef tartare? Whatever. But as your daily practice of feasting, cook the meat. Cook whatever you eat. Cook the sweet potatoes. Cook. You have this big human brain. You have control of fire. Every time you add heat and fire to something, you make it more nourishing. There's no reason to eat raw meat as a staple. So cook it. And if you want to cook the outsides and kill any potential pathogens and have the inside more rare, more raw, do that then. Jeremy Romo has some numbers here. Cholesterol 219, trigs 114, HDL 42, LDL 154. So Jeremy, you've got some work to do. And you will see all those numbers improve when you start beasting, feasting, and fasting. Elixir FPS. I've been doing OMAD intermittent fasting since the end of August and I've lost 61 pounds so far. Yeah, now add beasting and feasting to your daily routine and see the results take off and experience even more metabolic excellence. Herb Stomp wants to know, why cook if cooking denatures enzymes and nutritional content? I think cooking is a net gain for all nutritional content and for the bioavailability of your food. Hoop ticket back in shape with you. Hoop ticket back in shape with you. Johnny, I don't even know what that means. Jeremy Greer, is body weight exercise only okay? Yes, in my KBU, in the members area, we have a program designed by my wife. She's a physical therapist. We wanted to have a workout that required zero equipment and only took 10 minutes a day. The workouts are awesome. You don't need any equipment. There's no excuses. And, I'm a strength coach. My wife is a physical therapist. So we wanted to put this workout together to strengthen all of the muscles that our culture weakens the most. So we're driving our car and we're all bunched up, or we're sitting at the desk, or we're using our texting neck. So we want to just break back open and sit up straight and engage our core and strengthen our glutes. And that's what we do in that 10 minutes a day, 70 minutes for the week. That can be all of your beasting and you can have great health. Johnny Love says, I'm using speech to text in the car right now. Dude, I hope you're not driving. Anyways, guys, I love you. KrugerBody.com/secret. Smash the thumbs up button. Thank you so much for watching. I'm out here. I'm going to go do my little beasting, and then I'm going to feast. I think my friend Václav that I played basketball with last night, he's going to get rained out of his afternoon. He's a tennis pro. So he's going to come over for dinner. We're going to have a great time. And subscribe to the channel. Make it happen. Come back again and again. And really, get the free program. You never have to buy the paid program, but just get the free program. And then if you really want to transform, yeah, get the paid program too. But I love you.